Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Tobit channel. Today we are taking on a much bigger task than creepy crawlies, the G1 Transformers. We have most of them, like basically all of them. You don't even need to go into it. Basically
We
all
don't
the
quite
guys.
have all of them. It was
Yeah,
too much to do all of them.
like we
We
didn't
have
have all the
70.
headmasters and Terracons. We didn't need all
We,
those
we,
guys.
we've got 70 guys. That's all that matters. We have 70 G1 guys. Don't have all of them. We don't even have all the ones from the main G1 because there's just so many of them. We
And
could have. We wouldn't want to do that. It'd drag it out.
also
So
for the
here we are.
combiners, all the guys that are combiners, we're just counting them all together as the combiner, like all the Constructicons as Devastator.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much. Okay. Let's get started.
Alright, let us get started. From best to worst, first we have Optimus Prime, the iconic.
A tier.
A tier? Alright.
Yeah, like he's good, but he's good, but he's not in like my top like main favorites, you know.
Yeah, he's
But
not
he's
one of
still really
my...
good because he's Optimus Prime.
Same here, not one of my favorites, but... Like, this is the best Optimus we've ever had still. So next up, we have Wheeljack.
He's decent, so like B tier. He's decent. I'm more of a Decepticon, so there's probably going to be a lot more of them in the A and S tier for me. But Wheeljack is decent, so you know, B.
And for me, I'll have to disagree. I'm putting him up in S. He's one of my favorites. I always loved his mad scientist antics. Plus, he just looks really cool.
He does look cool.
Now, next we have Ultra Magnus.
S tier. Great design. He was a great character, and he should have been the leader. Period. He should have been the leader. I would have called him like Magnus Prime, right? Magnus Prime. He transforms to a car carrier, which makes perfect sense, right? To carry guys. He can carry even more guys than Optimus Prime can carry because he can carry guys on top. He's got like these really cool missiles. Cool name, great design, good character. S tier. He's S tier.
Yeah, I think it was pretty epic. I like his design a bit more than Optimus, but I think Optimus was cooler and more fun as a character, especially when he did some random weird stuff in season 2.
I think
So
Ultra Magnus
I'm putting him on. I think his design is cooler, but overall, I think it's about equal to Optimus. I'm putting him in at A.
He might be my favorite Autobot.
Fair enough, fair enough. Next, we have Galvatron.
Also S tier. He's like Megatron but cooler. His design is cooler. Even if like after the movie he started acting crazy, I thought it was pretty entertaining. It was actually one of the.
Oh, yeah,
It was
crazy.
kind of part of what kept the post movie show entertaining was Galvatron's insanity because it started to fall off a little bit.
Galvatron.
He was great, so he's S tier.
Yeah. It just made me remember. Oh, yeah, I was just double checking that Megatron was on the list. Yeah, he is. And we got Galvatron. I like his design a bit better than Megatron, and he's really cool in the movie, very funny in the show.
He's not funny in the. Oh wait, never mind. You said the show.
Yeah, very funny in the show. I don't know if I want to put him in S or just like kind of like the upper echelon of A tier. I'm gonna, because like he's not one of my all-time favorites, but I just can't deny how epic he is. I'm trying to be a bit more selective here, so that S is like just my favorite guys instead of just guys I think are really cool. Well, A is just guys I think are really cool, so I'm putting him in A. S is like just my personal favorite.
Yeah, exactly.
Next up, we got another iconic guy, Jazz.
Frankly, again, more of a Decepticon guy. Jazz is B. He's good and all. He's good. You know, because it's like A is great, B is good, S is the best. Jazz is good. You know,
he's pretty good. I think he's pretty entertaining in the show. He's one of the fun guys. I'm putting him up in A tier. Next up, we got leader of the Dinobots, Grimlock.
Instant S tier. It's just obvious. I shouldn't even have to explain. You know, he's iconic. He transforms to a T-Rex. Obviously, he's the best Dinobot. He has the most personality. Generally, they put the most personality into like the leader of a group, and the other guys they kind of follow them. But the
Yeah.
Dinobots are one of the most iconic groups. Period. They're all really cool, but Grimlock's best
Grimlock's pretty cool.
one, obviously.
Dang, man, I told you to try not to do that in this one, because you did that in the last one.
Just happens. You know, it's not going to be noticed that much if you don't say anything about it.
Yeah, it's gross and it bugs me personally. But anyways, let's just continue.
Why?
So Grimlock, he is all right. Dinobots weren't really my favorite. I really like them in Fall of Cybertron, where they're a bit more serious. But especially in the movie, when Grimlock was kind of like this weird comic relief, I think he got a little bit annoying. I'm gonna put him in B tier.
Yeah, the thing about that is they were more serious pre-movie. And then after the movie, they became more
Yeah, they became
comic
goofier as it went on. And before the movie, like, actually, yeah, you know what? Yeah, if we're going for most of G1, season 1 and 2, I'm putting them up in. Nah, still B. I was thinking, like, he is a bit. There are some more good episodes about them in the first half of G1, but I'm still putting him in B. Alright, next up we got
Damn.
Ratchet.
Ratchet. Now there's a B tier character. He's good, I guess.
Yeah, he doesn't. There's just not
Nothing.
a whole lot to say about him.
Honestly, I'm gonna put Ratchet in like C tier. Like he's okay, man.
Putting him in C.
No. You know, I almost feel like C is really low because like we don't have an F tier. Maybe our next tier list we should install an F tier.
I don't know.
You know what I'm saying?
I just feel like it wasn't really needed because usually, as you were talking about before, if something's bad, it goes straight down to D. If we had an F tier, it would just make D kind of feel pointless.
I guess. The Ratchet.
Because like C, in my opinion, C is
he's
okay.
kind of just like he's like Ironhide, but he's not as cool as Ironhide. He's okay. And you know what? I don't know if I want to put him in B or no, he's C. You know, he's all right.
C tier's fair. I'm putting him in B. I think he's pretty neat. Next up, we have the Sharkticon.
Yeah, you know what? I'll put him in B. He kind of looks cool. He can go in B. He's good.
All right.
Final answer. He's B tier. Final answer.
Next up, we got the Sharkticon. They don't have individual personalities, so we're ranking them all together.
Yeah. Really cool design. Not much of a character, but really cool design. So I'm gonna put him in A just because I like sharks and robot shark. He just looks really cool. So
I think they're pretty neat. They're pretty good for like some random enemy for the guys to have to fight. I think I'm gonna put them in B tier. They're a pretty good enemy.
Yeah.
Next up, we have the Quintessons.
I'm not gonna lie. The Quintessons in the show, they really start to annoy me because after the movie, they made that really stupid story where the Quintessons created the Transformers, I guess, but the fan base and me included rejected like that story's dumb. They were created by Primus, he's like God, and Unicron's the evil god. Anyway, Quintessons were decent villains, and then after the show, they were kind of annoying. I'm gonna put the Quintessons in like they're a B. They're a B tier.
I think I'm gonna put them in C. They were passable in the movie. They were good for like that one scene they were in, but like they weren't too interesting to me ever. And in the show, I feel like they're just about the same to me.
You know what? I might have to agree because they kind of annoy me in the show. Like that's just it. Like they get to the point where they try and give the Quintessons, they gave them this really big importance, but I'm like, why? It's just the Quintessons.
Mm-hmm.
However, I'm going to put them in B instead of C because they have a cool design.
Fair enough. Next up, we got another movie guy. Wreck-Gar, leader of the Junkions.
Leader of Junkions, like I said, Wreck-Gar, he's funny in the show. He's got a really cool design, the Planet of Junk Bolt kind of thing. So I'm going to put him in A tier. Wreck-Gar's A tier, Dare to be stupid, so he's got that associated with him.
I do like Dare to be Stupid as the song, and it's a neat enough scene, but I don't know. I didn't really care too much for their inclusion in the movie. I don't remember what they're like in the show afterwards, but like I never really cared for their inclusion in the movie. That always felt a little bit weird. And also, from a movie writing standpoint, them putting Ultra Magnus back together was pretty dumb. Ultra Magnus should have either stayed dead or not been blown to
Well,
bits.
it doesn't make sense for him to stay dead because he was introduced in
I
the
know it
movie
didn't make sense
to be
for the
sold, so he
show.
should have just been like injured or something.
Yeah. But anyways, junk because then it's like, oh, why didn't you put any of the other guys back together? But that's not a point away from the Junkions. That's just a little sidetrack. As for the Junkions and Wreck-Gar themselves, I just never really cared that much for them. I'm gonna put them in C tier. I just think like they're okay, like borderline. Like I just never really cared that much for them. Like don't really have
Okay,
anything.
all right.
All right, next up is Ironhide.
Um, he's gonna be A. He's above. Honestly, though, I don't know if I want to put him in like low A or high B.
Well, while you decide, I know I'm putting him up in A for me as well, because I think he's one of the cool guys. Like he's about like on the same level as Optimus to me. He's Optimus's right hand man. He was really cool in the show, and then his movie scene was pretty cool. He was the last guy still trying to fight back.
Yeah, I'll put him in A.
Yeah, he's a pretty cool guy. A little bit underrated, I feel like, for how important he was to the show. Then next we have little known guy from one episode, Kremzeek.
He was funny and all, so I'll put him in like he was funny. And enough. He was a decent little villain. I'm gonna go ahead and put him in like B tier. You know,
Yeah, it was never
a
one of
lot of these
my
guys are gonna end up being B. Like they're good.
it was never one of my favorite episodes. I put him in C tier. If this was 10 years ago when I was a kid, I had this weird hatred for him. He would be in D tier, but right now I just think it's kind of an
Yeah, that
alright
happened with
episode.
me as a kid too. I had a weird hatred for him, and now it's like he's kind of funny.
Also, I feel like if I remembered earlier, if we were doing one-off guys, Nightbird is actually a really cool like robot ninja girl. So she's actually a pretty cool one-off guy. She's only in one episode though, so she'd be B tier. Just didn't think of putting her in. Well, next up we got Triptychon.
S tier, obviously. He reminds me of Godzilla. I'm gonna assume that's where the inspiration came from. Definitely cooler than Metroplex. I never really cared about Metroplex.
Yeah, I think Triptychon's pretty neat. I'm putting them up in B tier. Like the giant guys are still pretty cool,
You
but
know what? I think I agree with you, Toby, though. I think Kremzeek kind of goes into C tier as a character.
you're dropping them down to C. Your
Yeah, I'm
first
gonna
C.
drop him down to like C. I think there's some guys that rethinking it. They might have to. Yeah, they go down to C.
Yeah. Well, next up we got Omega Supreme, and I know for me he's an instant S. He's always been one of my favorites. He's my favorite big guy, and yeah, he's really cool.
Honestly, like Omega Supreme's cool and all. I never had like a special fondness for him, but he's a big rocket ship, so I'm not gonna put him in C tier. I'm gonna go ahead and put him in like B tier.
B tier. Yeah, fair. Definite S for me. Now, it looks like another big guy ended up in this row again as well. We got Metroplex.
Honestly, like Metroplex is like you compare him. He's supposed to be compared with Triptychon, his arch enemy. He's way more like boring than Triptychon. Like Omega Supreme's a giant guy, but he's a giant like rocket ship guy with a gun arm. Metroplex is like just a giant dude. He's not that. He's like my least favorite big guy. Is Metroplex because he's the most boring. Like he's not bad, but like honestly,
Yeah. His inclusion was just to have another toy. Realistically, I think it would have been way cooler to have the Omega Supreme versus Triptychon. That would go so hard if they
I don't
were
know.
arch
I don't know
rivals.
where are you gonna put Metroplex?
I think he's perfectly passable and fine. I'm putting him in B tier.
In B? Yeah, he's B. He's good. He's passable.
Mm-hmm.
Even though B is good, C is like the passable tier.
C, I think, is
Or
like. I
the
think
meh.
C is
Yeah,
like,
C is
yeah,
like
like
the meh
meh,
tier,
like
I guess.
slightly below good, but like not
Yeah, I'm
bad
not gonna
yet.
put him below good. But like if he was a regular size guy, he'd definitely be C tier. Anyway, let's go.
Yeah, next up we got another big guy, Devastator, our first combiner for this list.
Devastator is he
Taste
might
the
be my favorite combiner.
devastation.
He just has a really cool design. I love the green and purple. So I'm gonna probably put him in S tier. He's probably my favorite combiner.
S tier.
Him in,
Yeah, that's fair
so I'll
enough.
put him in S.
I don't know. The combiners, as a concept, I think they're still pretty cool. They were never my favorite part. Like I was usually more interested when they were being the guys on their own, and then like maybe Devastator for like
I
a big
agree,
fight.
but it's cool that they can do that.
Yeah, but counting all the Constructicons together, I think as a group they're pretty good. They're pretty neat. They were the first little combiner guys. They kind of started everything. I think I'm gonna have to put him in A tier. He's just he's too great and iconic to just be in B. Next up, we got Hot Rod / Rodimus Prime.
B.
B. Honestly,
Well, you know what? Here's the thing, Mike. He's a B. If we were to separate them, Hot Rod is B. Rodimus would be a freaking C. But I'm gonna go with like, if we're going with Hot Rod, and I don't know, I guess I'll put him in B. We'll put him in B. But if we did separate Hot Rod and Rodimus, because they are, like I said, they're different. You know, they make his personality different. You know,
yeah.
So like, they are a bit different. Realistically, they're different. But
yeah, they are
but
different.
we'll go with Hot Rod because that's who he first was. That's really who he is to me.
Going with
He's
the movie
B.
one.
He's good.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I
good.
think,
Standard level of good.
as a kid, I would have put him in D tier. I had that hatred just because he was replacing Optimus. But honestly, over the years, he's grown on me a lot, and I think I actually Hot Rod and also Rodimus even. Like I never watched that much of season 3 or 4. I know he's not really that great in the show, but for the movie's sake, I'm putting him up in A tier because him and his story in the movie, it's grown on me a lot over the years. I also think his design. Lots of people just are like, "Oh, he was replacing Optimus," or "Rodimus is a dumb name," and then they sleep on the.
Dumb name.
It is a dumb name, but then they sleep on the fact that his design is actually really sick, and I think he deserves to be.
His design is
great.
decent. It's decent.
Like he's one of the coolest, just like cool car guys.
He's decent.
Next up, we got Soundwave.
He's kind of like he's good, but he's also kind of overrated. Overrated as fuck, in my opinion. But
Took 18 minutes, and now we've got the swear words in.
well, seriously, he's kind of. His cassettes are really cool, though.
Oh yeah, his cassettes I just
I'll
counted with
put him in. He's good. He's really. I don't know if I want to put him in like A or B. He's not S. Like frankly, I actually think his cassettes are like cooler than he is. I'll put him in A. He's A, but he's low A. Like he's a really good character, but at the same time, he's also overrated.
He is a bit overrated. I think he's pretty neat. I'd put him with. I'm also gonna go ahead and put him up in A. He's pretty good, and if we're also counting
he's
his
not
cassettes,
S though. He's not S.
and if we're counting his
A lot
cassettes
of
with
people,
him,
he's a lot of people's favorites, but he's a little overrated.
real quick, since we're not ranking the cassettes, just what's your favorite cassette?
It's either Rumble or Ravage.
Mine's Laserbeak.
Yeah, he's good too, but for me, it's Rumble or it's Ravage.
Fair enough. Next up, we got the other wave, Shockwave.
Shockwave, is way cooler design. He's S tier. He's got a really cool, unique design. He's got like that whole cold calculating thing about him, this emotionless, logical guy. He's definitely cooler than Soundwave. I'm gonna put him in S tier.
Yeah,
he's got that gun hand, which I love. I love the gun hand.
He's Gus Fring as a Decepticon.
Unfortunately, after the movie, he never really came back.
Here's the reason why. They cut it from the movie, but originally when Unicron was attacking Cybertron, there's going to be a scene where he like reaches over and crushes the building with Soundwave in it and kills him. Not
You mean
Soundwave, Shockwave.
Because Soundwave kept being in
Yeah,
the show.
I meant Shockwave. Yeah,
There's a theory. There's
there's a
theory
deleted
like,
scene.
oh, Shockwave survived. You know, even though he was intended to die.
I think as far as I'm concerned, he did die. They just didn't show it on screen because it's in the script. It was one of the it was one of the original scenes planned for the movie.
It's cool.
Him dying.
It's cool to pretend that he survived, though. It's fun to make a little conspiracy.
Yeah, that would be a good video. The conspiracy of how Shockwave survived. All right, next we got another movie guy. We got Springer.
Honestly, he's okay. He's like C tier. Not really a big Springer fan.
I think he's pretty cool. I also like his helicopter.
Like, it's cool when he's a
thing.
helicopter, but like he's just kind of
like, I don't think he's a super great
He's kind
guy.
of like a Han Solo knockoff. I've heard people call him that, and I kind of agree.
I've never made that connection before. I just think he's an alright dude. I think he's going in B.
He's C. He's not quite my least favorite guy introduced in the movie, but he's one of my least favorite guys. Because he's not as cool as like Ultra Magnus and Cup, who are my favorite guys introduced in the movies, one of my favorite Autobots.
Mm-hmm. Next up, we got a classic, Warpath.
Warpath. S tier because he's an interesting Autobot. He's not like the other Autobots. I mean, for one, he's a tank. He's like the first weapon Autobot. He goes from like season, I think it was, I don't know if he was in 1 or 2. I think it was 2.
I know he was in Law of 2. I don't remember.
And he went in. He went over past the movie.
Mm-hmm. He's a pretty neat guy.
He's really cool. He's really unique guy. I'll put him in S tier. You know.
S for you, A for me. Next up, we got the big bad himself, Unicron.
Unicron is like he's really cool. And he was really great in the movie. I'm gonna put him in A. He's not like one of my personal faves, but he's great. So you put him in A tier. He'd be a high A tier character.
Mm-hmm. He is such an amazing villain. Once again, not one of my favorites, but he's like at the top of A tier.
Yeah, like he's great. His design is great. He's a top A guy.
He's one of the coolest movie villains like ever. Just not quite one of my personal favorites, but he's just super cool. Now next, we got a human character from back when human characters were kind of good in the. I mean, the shows were usually pretty good about human characters like this.
Not gonna lie,
Prime.
like every human character is probably gonna be C tier for me.
Like animated
except for Spike.
Prime and this one. Oh yeah, Spike, the original human.
I mean, I
didn't put the
Daniel is like fucking. Spike is C tier. Like he's like meh. He doesn't bother me, but like I don't really give a shit about his character.
I didn't put any of the random guys that show up from time to time, like Wheelchair Guy or the Girl.
They don't matter really though. So.
I'd put Wheelchair Guy and the Girl in B tier, and that's Spike.
C.
I actually like Spike.
C.
I actually like Spike.
He's such a C. He's such a C.
I'm putting Spike in A tier.
You're putting that guy in A tier? What does he do? That's so great.
I don't know. I just like him in seasons 1 and 2. I just think
he
he's
doesn't
pretty
do
cool.
jack shit.
No, he does stuff like there are episodes like there's one of the ones.
But he can't really fucking help because he's just this guy.
No, there's
multiple robots. He hangs out, I guess, but
he's a third wheel.
He's a third wheel.
No, but there's also scenes where he is there's episodes where he's important. Like there's the one where him and the girl have to go to Cybertron, and he even uses a gun to take down some not a human gun. It actually looks kind of funny when he holds the big Autobot gun.
What there actually is that there's this there's one interesting episode I can think of with Spike as a main character
called Hoist.
No, it's called Hoist Goes to Hollywood, and all the Autobots and Spike as well and his girlfriend get like hired to help make a movie, and they're trying to make this movie, but the Autobots aren't good at acting, and then they get mad. It's a fun episode.
That's a fun episode, but
Spike fighting the Decepticons pisses me off that they can even do that. So fuck whatever you're talking about.
It's because he has
Move on to the next character.
He's great in that like the episode where he goes to Cybertron and Shockwave tries to kill him, and he has to get through like Shockwave's labyrinth. He's great in there's some other random episodes that just aren't coming to my mind right now, but I know there's other ones that follow him as a main, either running around with Bumblebee or Jazz.
My throat's hurting.
All right, next
Anyway.
we have Cup, which I feel like will be another divisive one between us.
You don't like Cup? Because I think he's S tier. He's that cool, like, veteran old man character who's always good
I think
in every movie.
he's
Like,
I think
he's definitely better than Hot Rod or the other movie. Most of the other. The only movie Autobot who was introduced in the movie that I like better is Ultra Magnus.
honestly, I'd put Cup in like he's honestly I find him kind of annoying throughout most of the movie, and I didn't watch season 3 or 4 very much, so I don't really know what he's like too much. He is cool near the end of the movie, like it's all going on about, oh, I've seen this before, that just gets kind of annoying to me. But then I do like when Unicron's there and he's like,
well, there has to be conflict for a movie.
Like, there's no conflict coming from.
Yeah, the conflict is between him and Hot Rod, at least just a little bit.
Like
that
barely even noticeable. And then I do like
he like the first line he has is bitching at Hot Rod. That's noticeable. And he's even like old timer. No, him and Hot Rod are great together, even if Hot Rod's not as cool as him.
I don't know. I think
he's iconic. He was great in the movie. So many great lines. Him and Hot Rod going on that little 2-man adventure, and then the Dinobots come in, of course. But
I'm putting him in C tier. Like there's some alright stuff with him, but he was never one of my favorites. There's some alright scenes with him, but like
whatever, you little shit. Anyway.
All right, next. Dang, this is getting heated. Between Daniel and that, we need one we can agree on. Let's see if Blur's that.
Blur is like C tier. Like, I don't really care about Blur.
Oh, it's another one.
He's annoying. He's almost D tier, but he's C. You know, Blur is
I like Blur quite a bit. I'm putting them up.
Looks like we're gonna have to wait to find one that we agree on.
Yeah, I don't know when the last one we agreed on was.
Is the next one RC?
Next one's RC.
C. She's RC because she's RC tier. Because like she's meh. She's pretty meh. She doesn't do anything very interesting. Like she's female. That's her character. She's the female Autobot. But that doesn't do it for me.
There's not a whole lot to her character. I do think the design.
Except for her, she's like Daniel's like mom in the show. She acts like his freaking like. It's kind of weird. It's a little weird. Yeah, no, she's like way too close with Daniel.
I'm putting her in B tier. I think she's an alright. She's good. Like same level as like Springer and Ratchet and stuff.
Same level as Springer because they're both C tier. Yeah, you're okay. Anyway, who's
Springer because they're both B tier. All right, next up we got Wheelie, which that's one we can agree on being in D.
That guy is D tier. He's annoying. He's not funny. He's stupid as hell. This little orange shit with his dumbass voice.
Yeah,
don't like him.
So obnoxious.
He's D. We can just move on. He's D tier.
So that's one we agree on. Next up we got Hound, the Jeep guy.
B, decent, cool transformation and all. I don't think about him a whole lot other than that he's a cool green Jeep, so B tier.
He's pretty cool, and I always like the episodes with him. I'm putting him in A. See, next we got Prowl.
Prowl is like C. Like I wouldn't even buy a toy. Like I don't really care about Prowl. His design is okay. He died and I was like, oh, that's Prowl. Like, I don't even think about Prowl. So you know what, Prowl? He's like C tier. He's just kind of boring,
I think he's all right. I can't think of very many good episodes about him, but
yeah, what comes to mind is the fact that he fucking dies and smoke comes out of his face.
Yeah, I'm putting him in B though because I feel like there are some times where he's still pretty, like, he's a pretty fine around there. Like, I can't think of any good Ratchet episodes either, but he's still B tier.
He's got the cool, like, van. I guess I prefer that design to the wingback design. Because design,
I always like the wingback.
Is that a fucking nail? Oh, no, it's a stick. For those of you who don't know, I'm outside right now. I'm not wearing any shoes. Thought I almost stepped on a nail. Just a twig. Everything's fine.
Next up, we got like that main Insecticon, Kickback.
Kickback. All the Insecticons pretty much going to be on the same level for me, which is A. Not quite S, but they look really cool. They're bug Decepticons. It's really neat. I'm gonna put them in A tier. He's A tier. Kickback's A tier, and when we get to the other ones, they're probably gonna all be A tier.
I love Kickback. Grasshoppers are already one of my favorite bugs. If you saw our last tier list, I put him up in S tier. I am putting him up in S tier. He's my favorite Insecticon.
You know what? Part of me wants to put the Insecticons in S tier just because they're so cool.
They're like the coolest part of the Decepticons.
They're not the coolest part, but they're one of the coolest parts. I'm gonna put him in S tier. Insecticons he's S tier.
All right. Then next up we got Mirage, who.
So we both agree he's S tier. Oh, Mirage. I don't know, like C, I guess.
There's actually some pretty good episodes about Mirage, like the Gold Lagoon and stuff. I feel like he's a pretty unique character to follow.
No, but it was like Beachcomber. That episode was about Beachcomber. He was like the main guy in that one.
Oh yeah, that was Beachcomber. No, Mirage was.
Yeah, see, Mirage is so forgettable. You thought he was someone else. I mean, he makes disguises, I guess, but like, he just, other than that, he kind of talks annoying. So I'm gonna put him in C tier.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I was thinking Beachcomber.
If we were talking about the one from Rise of the Beast, he'd be in fucking D tier.
Rise of the Beast, I put him in like A.
He sucks in Rise. I mean, let's not argue about that.
Next up, we got Sunstreaker. I actually just got an 80s toy of him, and he looks pretty dope.
Oh, I never really think about Sunstreaker, so his car looks cool, so I'll put him in B over C, though. Like, that cool orange car.
Yeah, he is really cool, but I can't think of very many episodes that really focus on him. I'm putting him in B. I know there are some episodes that focus on him, like that screenshot is from an episode that's about him, but I just can't really remember what he does. Then
he's even in the movie for a second. He's just kind of in a ship.
Let's see the next one we got. Let's see this one. I see the propeller on his arm. The head got cropped out. It's kind of annoying, but I think it's Bruticus because there's the propeller on his arm.
Yeah, A tier. I don't think I quite like him as much as Devastator, but his introduction episode,
Starscream making the Combaticons is such a good episode.
It's a great several part episode too. I think it has 2 or 3 parts. So he's A. He's an A tier.
I think I like him more than Devastator. He's probably my favorite combiner. I'm putting Combaticons up in S. Next up, we got Kid from the movie, Daniel.
D tier. Fuck that kid. Annoying.
I think he's like alright. I'm putting him in C tier though. He's not as I don't like him replacing Spike for seasons 3 and 4. I think it would have been way cooler to just see like adult Spike going with like maybe a few scenes with his kid, but
actually adult Spike plays pretty much as much of a role as Daniel. He's actually in the show quite a bit. And he's a little more interesting. Like I said, he's like mad, but he's not like annoying. Like Daniel's straight up annoying.
Daniel, I haven't watched much of season 3 and 4. I just kind of got disinterested.
Well, in the movie, he's annoying. So
in the movie, I think he's perfectly fine. Spike's just way cooler.
He's worse than Wheelie.
And then next up, we got Wheelie's the worst thing in all of G1, except for maybe Headmasters is the worst thing. But anyways, next up is Beachcomber, the guy I was thinking about before.
The Beachcomber's a different guy. He's like this hippie character.
Yeah, for some reason I was thinking Mirage was the hippie. For some reason I was thinking Mirage was the hippie, but it's Beachcomber. Now that I remember that. No,
Beachcomber, and he transforms into this cool.
Now that I remember that, Beachcomber's way cooler than Mirage.
I mean, I'm not much of a hippie guy, but he's an Autobot, so it makes sense. So I'm actually Beachcomber's an interesting guy. He is.
A unique personality.
He communicates with animals and he hangs out with animals. I love the Go to the Lagoon episode.
That's one of the best in the series.
I'm gonna put him in like A tier. I like Beachcomber.
I'm gonna agree with A tier.
Beach buggy, like this blue beach buggy. It's really nice.
He's one of the most interesting Autobots. He has his own distinct personality.
He's A tier, you know.
Next we got dang, I always remember his design. What's his name? It's Trax, yeah. I always forget if it's
Honestly,
treads or
like
tracks.
C tier. Like I don't. He's C tier.
I think he's cool. I like how he flies around and all the episodes where he like interacts with like the like disco guys in the streets are always really funny. Or like
Well, there was one episode.
the one where no, I swear there was another one with those same
No,
humans.
there's like one episode.
No, not like not the disco club episode, but I know he interacts with those humans multiple times. The humans from that episode. I also know there's the one where he gets stolen as a car because he crashes and can't transform anymore.
Oh
I
yeah.
I think he's a pretty fun character to follow, and he's also a lot more egotistical and like full of himself than other Autobots, which I think just makes him kind of fun to like. He's a fun, more unique Autobot to follow. I'm putting him up in A tier. Next up, we got Blaster, the Red Soundwave.
A tier. I think he's kind of like Jazz, but I like him better than Jazz. He's cool. He's got really cool designs. He's got a cool name. He's an A tier Autobot.
I think Jazz is cooler. I think Blaster is like perfectly.
Blaster would kick his ass though.
Well, maybe he would, but like I mean, Grimlock would kick Jazz's ass, but I have Grimlock lower than Jazz.
Let's fight. Let's see who wins.
Because like if we're going based on power levels, this would be an entirely different story.
Well, okay,
Unicron
whatever.
would be S.
He kicked his ass in coolness
It's
too.
about how. No, I disagree. I think Blaster. He's always just been kind of like Red Soundwave to me.
Well, he
I
doesn't
think-
act like Soundwave though.
Well, like I
not
mean,
at
like
all.
with his gimmick and like his personality is just different Jazz, and his design is just Red Soundwave, and he
He's
had
cooler than Jazz though.
and all his tapes are not near. Like I don't even remember a single one of his tapes names. They're not nearly
They're
as good
not
as.
as iconic as Soundwave's tapes.
I'm
That
putting
much
him
is
in
true.
Blaster is C tier.
Damn, you stupid ass. You can't do him like that though.
No, I just don't like him that much. Like I think he's on the same level as like Mirage.
Fuck. Mirage Mirage is boring. Anyway, who else? Who's next?
Beachcomber is cool as. All right, next up we got Scourge and his sweeps.
Scourge. I really like his design and his voice and his name. I don't know. He's like S tier. Like I don't know. I just really like Scourge for some fucking reason.
I think he's pretty cool, and I like the sweeps as
He's a
Galvatron's
random
minions.
favorite of mine. You know.
I'm putting him up in B tier. I think he's a pretty good villain guy. Next up, then we got Cyclonus.
Cyclonus for me is more like B. I don't care as much about Cyclonus. He's good and all, but that's just that he's good.
I like him being like trying to be the voice of reason to Galvatron's craziness in the show. And also his transformation in the movie that Galvatron can get in and fly around like a ship is really cool.
Stupid. It's real stupid.
I really like it. And that's one of my favorite transformations in the whole series. I'm putting him in A
but it
tier.
makes like no sense.
I mean, like, Astro Train is barely taller.
Yeah, but at least he's like a train. I don't know.
Like, Astro Train is barely taller, but he can expand to hold, like, the entire Decepticon survivors from the movie battle in him. So, Cyclonus holding one guy, I think, is fine. And I think it looks really cool. Next up, we got Smokescreen. I don't really remember what he's like in the show, but I had a toy of him, so I
He's kind
remember
of
him.
just like the average C tier Autobot who I don't care about that much.
I
He's
don't-
fodder, you know.
I don't remember him very much because I can't really remember any episodes with him.
All he
I
does is make smoke with by like driving,
I just
and he like
But I think his
like smoke
design's
screens.
his design's pretty cool, so I'm putting him in B. I always like when they have the car doors as the wings.
those guys are all right. I'm not that big of a fan of that design.
I really like it. I think it looks
The
really cool.
the Dotson ones, that's what they are.
Let's see.
they're-
Next up, we got Grapple, I believe his name was. The green guy. I forgot to get his yellow partner.
No,
that helps
Grapple
him.
is orange. Hoist is the green
Oh,
tow truck.
I got Hoist. I guess we can just count Hoist and Grapple together. They're pretty similar.
No, they're not the same. You can't count them together. We're talking about Hoist. Grapple is a crane. Hoist is a tow truck.
Okay, fine. Well, I didn't put Grapple on here. Where would you put him?
It doesn't matter because we have lots of guys who aren't here. So but we're talking about Hoist.
Well, since we brought up Grapple.
I don't know.
I'd put them both in the same spot on B tier. They're fine.
Yeah, he's fine. He's a cool tow truck and all.
You're doing B as well?
Yeah.
Alright, next up we got Thundercracker, the cooler Starscream.
I mean, Starscream is the one with an actual personality, but
Yeah,
you know,
Starscream is actually. I just like the blue. I just like. Usually,
he has a
I
decent
like
paint
red stuff
job.
more, but I like blue more.
He's B. He's good, but like he basically just is blue goon. He's one of Starscream's goons.
Yeah, I like. He's kind of like a stick, like a boring stick in the mud. Like. There's not a lot of episodes that focus on him, but like when they're all trying to do like Decepticon-y things, he's like, oh, but the guys who should do this, or like, oh, but Starscream, Megatron said we need to do this. He's like that kind of guy.
Yeah.
And I think he's kind of like how Scourge is kind of one of your random favorites. He's one of my random favorites. He's S tier.
I understand. Honestly, Thundercracker, he has a cool name too.
I just think he's really
maybe.
Cool.
But yeah, I think I'll probably keep him in B.
Next up, we got the other one, Skywarp.
Skywarp like he's supposed to have this thing where he can teleport, but they never really do a lot of that in the show. Like Skywarp is like less cool than Thundercracker. So maybe honestly, dude, I'll probably put Skywarp in B.
Skywarp in B. I'm gonna put Skywarp also. I think his design is really cool, but he doesn't do a whole lot, so I'm putting him in B as well. Next up, maybe
I'll put Thundercracker in A just because he looks cool, you know.
All right, Thundercracker up in A. Next up, we got the only Conehead we decided to put on here, Thrust. He's kind of the main one.
Thrust is A. I like the Coneheads. They're A tier guys.
I don't have an issue with the Conehead design, but I just never really cared too much about Thrust. He is the coolest looking out of all of them. I'm
like pro Conehead. Like some people, I feel like don't like the Conehead.
Some people are anti Conehead. I think the Coneheads are fine. They're the same as the regular Seeker guys, but I'm putting him on B. He's basically on the same level as Skywarp to me. He has a really cool design, but you kind of have to have a interesting personality and are fun to follow character to be an A tier. Next up, we got Spike's dad, Sparkplug.
C tier. He's C. Not much to say about him.
All right, I think he's not in the show a whole lot, but when he is, I feel like he's fairly interesting. I'm putting him up in A tier.
Wow, you are just.
I like the G1 humans. Honestly, I'd put the girl in B tier, and I remember before I said I'd put the wheelchair guy in B tier, but I'd put him in A tier now that I think about it more. The wheelchair guy is A tier.
What the fuck does he do to be A tier?
He's like that nerdy guy. He's actually it. I feel like they focused
on him.
But
that's what Perceptor is for. He's like this shitty wheelchair ass guy.
Well, I think they even have more wheelchair guy episodes than like wheelchair and Spike in season 2 have like almost the same.
Anyway, let's move on, I guess.
Chip, his last name. That's the wheelchair guy.
Yes.
Yeah, I forgot his name. Let's see. Next we got Inferno.
C tier. Like, don't care.
Yeah, he's same here for me. I don't really care too much about him. I don't really have anything to say. I feel like most of the C tier guys I kind of have like a bit of a negative thing towards. So Inferno is like the top of C tier. Because I don't have anything negative. I just think he's a bit less cool than the B tier guys. Then we got Autobot, the Autobot jet guy. Powerglide, yeah. I can't remember his name, but he's pretty fun.
He's A tier. He's pretty good.
Couldn't remember his name, but he is.
The girl who loved Powerglide is a really funny episode. So
he's a fun to follow guy. So he's going up in A tier. He's got a pretty distinct personality.
Honestly, though, like I might, I'm thinking about the tiers. I'm gonna put Thundercracker like. I don't know if it's like a low A or a high B. It's weird. Let me look at my list for a second. Is it my list?
Oh yeah, I haven't changed yours. I just decided for the screen share because he's not in the same place as me. I just have your screen share set to viewing your list.
Okay, because right now I'm looking at my list. A tiers. I'll keep him in there. I'll keep him in there. Let's move on.
All right, fair enough. All right, next we got Sea Spray.
C tier. C spray. C tier. He has an annoying voice.
I like his voice. I think it's kind of funny, and I also he's another one of my weird random favorites. I don't think he's as favorite to be S tier, but like I've always had a like I've always liked him. He's on the higher end of A tier. Next up, we got some Dinobots here. We got the Stegosaurus Sludge. No, not Stegosaurus. Whoops. Brontosaurus Sludge.
Yeah, he would be A tier.
A tier.
Yeah.
All right, here. 1 second. I'm gonna
He's a
try.
really cool dinosaur. The long neck dinosaurs are really cool. You know what though? Like I'm gonna put him in S tier just because he's a really cool dinosaur. So
S tier just because he's a cool ass dinosaur.
yeah, you know that? Yeah.
All right, and then mine. I am kind of indifferent towards most of the Dinobots. He's going in B tier.
Yeah, that's retarded.
Let's see. Next up, we got the Pterodactyl Swoop.
Also S tier. He's my second favorite. So it goes like Grimlock, Swoop, and like Sludge are my um like three guys. I think it kind of goes by what my dinosaur favorites are in relation to that because like the Triceratops is my least favorite compared to all of them because they don't look as cool, I guess.
Dang, yours. The zoom on yours. Since I haven't had the same zoom on mine, there's just so many guys in yours. D tier is getting cut off to when we're doing our like little rundown of everything. I'll scroll down. It's not like there's a whole lot in your D tier, anyways. My Swoop is also going in B tier. Then we got Triceratops guy Slag.
Slag, he's A.
He's A. All right, A tier. And then for mine, B tier again. Then we got Snarl, the
Also A.
Stegosaurus.
Yeah, I think he's a little cooler than Slag. He looks a little cooler. I'll put Snarl in A tier.
Stegosaurus, I think he's the coolest looking of the Dinobots. I like I like his dinosaur mode a lot. He looks really cool, but so he's a bit higher B than the other guys, than the other Dinobots. Then we got Brawn, little iconic guy.
See, I want to see like D tier. Like he always kind of pissed me off.
D tier. All right, here.
Fuck Braun.
All right, Brawn's in
I
D
like him.
tier. Don't
Don't
worry if
really like
you.
Braun. I don't know why. Oh, he's small, but he's strong. I don't know. I just don't like him. He's kind of ugly looking.
All right, he's down in your D tier.
What's your tier for Braun?
My tier for Braun is gonna be. I think he's pretty neat. I think he's a pretty iconic guy. I think he's pretty cool. He's a fun enough character to follow. I'm putting up an A. Next up, we're back to the Insecticons. We got Shrapnel.
Oh, he's A. He's not quite S because he's my least favorite out of all the Insecticon like designs, really. So he just gets down to A as opposed to S.
Yeah, I like his beetle design a lot, but that's also just because I like bugs a lot. But he does have my least favorite robot mode out of all of them, so I'm putting him in A. Then we got the last one, Bombshell.
S.
S.
Honestly, though, like,
That's one I agree with. He is going in S. I love the episode where he has the mind control thing on Soundwave. His robot mode looks really cool, and he also has a cool beetle mode. Next up, we got the OG villain, Megatron.
A. He's not as cool as Galvatron to me, but he's A tier.
He's pretty good.
He's still really good, you know?
He's such an iconic villain. He's A. I think Galvatron has a slightly cooler name and design, but I think Megatron. I think Megatron's about equal. On some days, I'm
Thing is,
leaning
like,
Megatron.
Megatron's like, oh, he's the big bad villain. I kind of like the interesting Galvatron take, where like they have to deal with like an insane leader, and they have to like nobody's safe. Nobody's safe.
Galvatron and Megatron, like personality wise, movie Galvatron is the best. It goes movie Galvatron, show and movie Megatron. He kind of has the same personality. And then, as funny as show Galvatron is, I think he's the least cool out of the
He's
personalities.
he's scary, dude. He's insane. He's schizo code.
And then, as for designs,
I like it.
on some days I'm leaning Galvatron,
He's,
some days I'm leaning Megatron. They're both really cool. Uh,
you
I think overall, I prefer the Megatron
know,
content. I think there's more Megatron content I prefer, but Galvatron is like basically tied with Megatron. Next up, we got Cosmos.
Um, he's kind of dumb looking. He's like C tier.
C tier.
Yeah.
All right, and as
Unlike
for
Audrey Hepburn, that's A tier, but like Cosmos, C tier.
I'm playing Cosmos. He's kind of fun to follow, but he isn't one of my favorite designs. He's like the least cool spaceship guy. He's going in B.
Yeah, he's not that cool. He's kind of meh.
He's going in B. I think he's all right. Then next up, we got Skylynx.
S tier. I mean, he's just amazing. Not only is he, they made an animal character be smart for a change.
Yeah, I do
He's a
like that.
He's a rocket. He's a fucking griffin creature. He can also separate into a lynx or like the fucking bird. He's awesome looking. He's just really cool.
He is really
He's
cool.
good. He's like an arrogant butthole, but he's good. He's a great. He's one of the best post movie guys. They made him after the movie, and he's really cool.
Mm-hmm. He is one of
Definitely
the best
one of
post
my
movie
favorites.
guys.
S tier.
For me, personally, I'm putting him in A tier. I think he's pretty good. He's pretty great. But not
His
like
name
my
is
total favorite.
Sky Lynx.
Next up, we got Scorponok.
So basically, Scorponok is, and it's a bit of a complex thing for me. He's got a really cool design and a really cool voice, but I don't like how like he is a robot that's controlled by an alien that controls Scorponok. Like that's really weird and convoluted. Puts him down to A tier. I put him in A because like his design is just awesome, and like the concept is cool. Of him, giant scorpion guy. His voice is cool, but like
I think he's all right. I really don't have much to say. And like his design's not really my favorite, and I don't like the headmasters. I'm putting him in C.
Headmasters grew on me a little bit, but overall don't like them.
Headmasters never grew on me. I never liked it, and I think his design's kind of okay.
Why the fuck am I seeing like a flashlight?
What? Like,
Never mind.
are you talking about on your screen or like just
No,
somewhere out there?
like it like went through the sky. Like someone shined a power. It was fucking weird.
Ah, all right. Well, next up we got Perceptor, very iconic one of the
A
creator's
tier.
favorites.
He's A tier. I like him.
A tier. I am going to have to agree with that A tier placement.
Penis. Yeah.
Then next up we got the Flying Guys combiner.
What? Oh, Superion. So Superion, like B,
B.
frankly.
The
Autobots
Autobots were
they never really had as cool as the combiners.
Aerial bots were always all right to me.
Yeah, I don't care about. They're like if the Seekers were like lamer.
I'm putting them in C tier because since I have Thundercracker and not Thundercracker, Skywarp and Thrust and B, I have to have the lamer versions in C. It is cool that they combine, but the combiner as a concept wasn't always my favorite, but it's neat that they at least have something. Then there's Big Motor Master, Menasor.
Menasor. But honestly, the Stunticons are not really my favorite. But the Stunticons are not really my favorite. Like low B. I like Motor Master because I like semi trucks, but I don't really give a shit about race cars.
I do like race car guys, but out of all of them, I just never really got attached to the Stunticons. They've always just been kind of alright. I'm putting them in C tier. Then next up we got Computron. Never heard of him
Um,
before today.
so he's got a really cool origin story. There's this episode where it's a post movie season 3 where Grimlock something happens that makes him really smart, and he makes the Technobots to I forgot what he had to do, but he made them. And he made it so that they could combine into Computron. And they're cool. Their names are kind of like they're running out of names, but they're cool because they're like one of them's like a drill machine. Computron. And because of that episode, I have a bit of fondness for Computron, so I'm gonna put him in A tier.
A tier. Alright, alright. I think design wise, he does have he has a cool design considering combiners. They're not usually my favorite designs, but I've never watched the episode. I have no memory of him even existing, so I'm putting him in B tier. For he has a better design than some of the other combiners. Then there's Reflector, camera
Um,
guy.
he's cool. I mean, he's like three guys for some reason. B.
B. All right. I'm gonna have to agree. I think he's all right. He's B. Then there's Blitzwing.
Um, freaking like he's A. Not
A.
quite S. He's bordering, but I'm gonna put him at an A.
Yeah, fair enough. I will also agree that he's an A tier guy. Next up, we got Astro Train.
S. No, he's S. He's my favorite. He's one of my favorite. He's one of my favorite Transformers. Astro.
Same here. He's one of my favorite Transformers. He's definitely the coolest triple changer, and he's the most iconic easily. Astro Train, such a cool character. He's S tier. One of my favorite Astro Train moments was the episode with where he wanted to be worshipped on the alien planet. That one was funny. Where him and Starscream are off on the alien planet. Starscream first is like, "Oh, I'm gonna trick them into worshiping me," and then
Yeah.
Astro Train's like, "No, you fool, it's me." Speaking of Starscream, he's up next.
S tier. He's like my favorite. Starscream's my favorite. He's my favorite guy.
Starscream's pretty cool. I like
He's
Thunder.
just like me for real.
I like Starscream's personality. He's a really fun character to follow. S tier. Then next up, we got, in my opinion, one of the worst designs for a combiner, Predaking.
Wait, you hate his design?
I don't hate his design. I just think it's the least cool looking.
I mean, I like his individual animal forms, but I'm not gonna lie. In combiner mode, he does look a little weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I'm gonna
Predacon
put him in
slash
like,
Predaking.
because like I love the individual animals, so I'm gonna put him in A for that. But yeah, as a combiner though, his design is not that good.
Yeah, I love Prime Predaking though. Just gotta throw that out. But this Predaking slash the Predacons, I don't really remember what they're like on their own. And I think his design's kind of lame, so I'm putting him in C. Next up, all right, guys, we're almost to the end of this. We got two guys left. I gotta scroll down a little bit.
Isn't it Bumblebee and Cliffjumper?
Yeah, it's Bumblebee and Cliffjumper, our last two guys for tonight.
So like C tier for both of them. Don't
C
really
tier-
like them that much.
C tier
Not
for
quite
both of them.
B. I don't hate them, but I don't really like them that much.
And for me, I'm gonna put Bumblebee is all right in B tier, I think, and then like there's some pretty.
Cliffjumper does nothing. He is like literally nothing.
There's
He
funny.
exists because they accidentally made fucking bumblebees red in the factory.
Mm-hmm.
There's
I think-
nothing about Cliffjumper. Random ass name.
There's
You
been
know-
some pretty good episodes that feature his whole thing about like wanting to charge in on his own. I think
guess, but that's not a whole lot, you know.
I'm putting him in B tier as well. I don't think he's A tier worthy, but I think he's slightly cooler than Bumblebee. Bumblebee's just the
Maybe
guy
because
who
he's
kinda
red and
chills with
Bumblebee's like a
Spike.
shitty little yellow. I mean, well, Like I like the Volkswagen Beetle, so it's cool when they transform into that. But like as characters, I don't like them. Bumblebee as a character is just kind of boring to me. He's like a
Yeah.
lot of people like him, but like why? I don't get his
I think it's because
popularity,
he's the
man.
guy who hangs out with the humans always, so basic fans
Yeah,
like
they're
him
like,
because of
oh,
that.
he's little kids, and the girls like him, and little kids like him. And frankly, I'm beyond that. I'm fucking beyond that.
I think he's okay. Animated Bumblebee is funnier. Let's see. Next up, now that is all of them. So let's go over these lists.
I do not. Well, go ahead, and then after that, I'll probably hit the sack.
All right. So next up for S tier, my S tier guys, I got Wheeljack, Omega Supreme, Shockwave, Kickback.
Yeah!
What happened? What was that? What was that noise about? Maddox? 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 What was that noise about? Maddox, what's happening? Maddox, what's that noise all about? Well, Maddox is being weird. I don't know what that's all about, so I'm gonna get back to listing these guys off. Alright, so my S tier guys were Wheeljack, Omega Supreme, Shockwave, Kickback, Bruticus, Thundercracker, Bombshell, Astro Train, and Starscream. And then Maddox's S rank guys are Ultra Magnus, Galvatron, Grimlock, Tripticon, Devastator, Shockwave, Warpath, Cup, Kickback, Scourge, Sludge, Swoop, Bombshell, Skylynx, Astro Train, and Starscream. Then my A tiers are Optimus, Ultra Magnus, Galvatron, Jazz, Ironhide, Devastator, Hot Rod, Soundwave, Warpath, Unicron, Spike, Blur, Hound, Beachcomber, Trax, Cyclonus, Sparkplug, Power Glide, I forgot his name again for a minute, Sea Spray, Brawn, Shrapnel, Megatron, Skylynx, Perceptor, and Blitzwing. Then for your A tiers, you got Optimus, Sharkticons, Junkions. Sorry, I'm tired. I'm getting a bit of a headache. That's why it's taking me a bit to remember some of the names because it's like almost midnight here. Ironhide, Soundwave, Unicron, Bruticus, Beachcomber, Blaster, Thundercracker, Thrust, Power Glide, Slag? Yeah, Slag. Snarl, Shrapnel, Megatron, Scorponok, Perceptor, Computron, Blitzwing, and Predaking. Then for my B tiers, I got Grimlock, Ratchet, Sharkticon, Tripticon, Metroplex, Springer, RC, Prowl. What was that noise about?
Oh, fucking farting.
Alright, if you're not interested in talking anymore for the video, you can go now. I'm just listing off the thing. You can say bye and leave now.
It's for the video.
Alright, as I was saying, RC, Prowl, Sunstreaker, Scourge, Smokescreen,
Happy
Hound.
Halloween, guys. All right.
All right, I'm gonna hang up now. See you,
No, no,
Maddox.
nigga, wait, no, no.
All right.
Oh.
All right. Are you going to not interrupt?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Sunstreaker, Scourge, Smokescreen, Hoist, Skywarp, Thrust, the Dinobots. The Dinobots. I'm not gonna list them all off. All right. We'll see you later, Maddox. Alright, I hung up on him. Alright, so that there won't be any more weird-ass noises in the background. Next up, green guy. Names forget slip in my mind because it's like midnight and I'm tired. I was just at a wedding today. UFO guy. Cosmos. Then Computron, Reflector, Bumblebee, and Cliffjumper. His B tier guys were Wheeljack, Jazz, Ratchet, Quintessons, Omega Supreme, Metroplex, Hot Rod. I forgot his name. Dang it, I'm getting way too tired for this. The Green Hound, Sunstreaker, Cyclonus, Hoist, Skywarp, the Aerial Bot Combiner, Superion, that's what his name was, Menasor, and Reflector. Then for C tiers, I got the Quintessons, Junkions, Kremzeek, Cup, Mirage, Daniel, Blaster, Inferno, Scorponok, and those 3 combiner guys I don't really care about. Then for his C tiers, he got Kremzeek, Springer, Daniel, Blur, RC, Prowl, Mirage, Trax, Smokescreen, Sparkplug, Inferno, Sea Spray, Cosmos, Cliffjumper, Bumblebee. And then in our D tiers, there's only one guy that's different between our D tiers. Well, no, actually, no, 2 guys. Because that's right, I only have Wheelie. He has Wheelie, Daniel, and Braun. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Sorry that was such a long video. There's just a lot of talking about Transformers to go on. And I'm sorry on behalf of Camo Stag for how near the end of the video he just started making weird noises, like, and saying stupid stuff and kind of going off topic. I'm sorry about that, and I'm sorry on my behalf for kind of blanking on some names during my ending listings because I'm tired. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching, and if you guys have any more ideas for tier lists, go ahead and comment them down below. Don't really have much else to say, I don't think, and that is going to be it today, guys. See y'all in the next video.